you still have to try to create. It's more a mindset than a real something what you see on the pitch, because the situations you have to create, they need to be lively, they need to be fluid and all that stuff. So yeah, but patience is important. It's pretty rare that you can win in the first minute. It's much more likely you can win in the last minute. And that's not new to us. But the Aston Villa game really was difficult. Like a lot of games are difficult in the league, but you cannot compare the games now with the other games. So we play now Brighton, where I'm not 100% sure if they still fight for staying in the league or if they feel already secure, which it's possible as well. Probably they know they need a few more points, but maybe not. They are a really good football team. For example, they play different. I really think what they did over the last year is incredible. With a team like Brighton, who was in relegation battle last year, implementing a new style, really going to evolving a proper football style, and that's interesting. Is doing a really good job there, my colleague, but now, since the lockdown, they changed their approach a little bit. They went a bit more for results. You could see that against Norwich. Maybe it's not a perfect example, but I think Norwich had more possession in that game, which is unlikely for Brighton. Maybe since the lockdown, not so much. So we don't know exactly what we will face. A team in a good run and pretty much full of confidence about the results they had since the lockdown. We need to be ready for that. After that, Burnley, always difficult. After that, Arsenal fighting for Europe for sure, and after that, Chelsea fighting for Champions League, and then last match Newcastle, probably fighting for nothing anymore, but still the last home game. So all different, and a lot of things we need always. One of these things is being patient, but it's not something I ask for before the game, because we will find out how patient we need to be. First and foremost, I want us to be lively. I want us to be active. I want us to be creative. And I want us to be really solid, especially in protecting the counter-attacks, because whatever setup Brighton will choose, and they used to change a lot for a specific opponent system-wise. So against us, I think when we played here, it was kind of a 4-3-2-1. Maybe they play that again, but we have only 2 days time, so we cannot prepare for all the different systems. So most of the things the boys have to learn on the pitch and then use our principles, our patterns, and hopefully it will work out.
I asked you about the kind of Zoom press conferences, and I was joking, but have you enjoyed the challenge that this kind of period has presented in doing things differently, whether it's the compressed amount of games? I know that's difficult with keeping players fit and fresh. Have you enjoyed the challenge of doing something different, albeit this is a one-off situation?
I hope it's a one-off situation, but I didn't think about the changes. We thought a lot about the changes before we started, but since we started, we didn't think about it. We take it like this. I'm really, really happy that we are allowed now to use dressing rooms again, even social distancing all clear, but the boys can change inside with the weather we have now. During the lockdown, the weather was brilliant. Now it would be really strange if they have to change in a tent or in a car or whatever. So I'm looking forward to the time when it will be as it was before all the things started to happen. And now it's okay, but it was really good before. So I'm really happy when we can do it again like we were used to do it.
Just on that, and a final one from me, the drinks break debate, if you like, with it raining and being cold, maybe not the necessity to have it. But is it like coaching now in 4 quarters? Because there are benefits to getting your players together and talking the game through as well as having a drink, aren't there?
Look, it's a very good idea, and if you look, I don't know, Tour de France or whatever, the guys on the cycle, they don't only use their drinks when it's sunny outside. They use that because the body needs it. So there are 2 different things. Sweating is not the only it's not the only thing that makes it necessary to drink. So I like it. It's from a sports science point of view really, really good. It helps. So I understand that people think we don't need it when it's on 40 degrees outside, but I don't think it will be like this after for the next season. Maybe, I don't know exactly how it will be. We have a short preseason only. If we have a preseason, if we get finally a date when we can start again, That's all clear. But it's really good, and it's for the players, and it's not for the coaches that we can speak. We use the time, of course, but I said it before. Until the boys are in my area where I wait for them, they're all in the first 20 seconds are over. Then they really drink, and then I have maybe 10 seconds to say a few words. So that's not coaching. It's not that you change systems in that time and stuff like this properly. And that's why I like it for the players. It's really good. But it's new for us, and so maybe some people still need to get used to it. But it's completely okay for me that it's now that we do it now. And if then somebody decides after that we will never do it again, or only when it's really hot outside, then it's like this, no problem.
Thank you, Jurgen. Thanks a lot.
James, Simon Crabtree, please.
Hi, Jurgen. I know you spoke to our written friends about medals for your squad before the last game, and I know that the wider family, as it were, at the football club that we don't talk about are equally as important. I'm thinking people like Mona or Liam Graham or Paul or all the backroom guys that I think you said once that do the little things that make the big difference.
I'm not sure they're little. They are not in public, but they are massive. If we wouldn't have Mona Nemmer during the lockdown, I'm pretty sure the majority of our players would have died of starving, because it's difficult to organize it from one day to the other. The things were all different for all of us, but being really famous out there and going out for grocery shopping and stuff like this, that would have been really difficult. If Andreas Kornmeier wouldn't have done the job he did, then the players would have come back and all of them would have had 5 kilo more and stuff like this. So it was not that there are no little things in this process, to be honest. There are only things which we see in public and things we don't see in public, but we appreciate that all exactly in the same manner. So I'm not sure if that's I never understood that, but 100% why people make a cut who gets a medal and who gets not a medal. But the medal actually you get here and maybe here. It's not so important if you really have it in the end. It's because you don't look at it every day. It's much more important that you are involved and that we show the appreciation and respect we have for all the people who are involved in that process. And so it's not important, but for a player, for example, maybe it's more important than for other people who are involved in it. We will find a way to show how much we appreciate what everybody has done. And if there's a medal needed for it, then we will create our own one, but we will never forget it anyway. So all good.
And just a thought of the club's future this week. It seems a little bit more secure with the contracts that Curtis, Jones and Harvey Elliott put pen to paper to. I'm just wondering about that bigger picture, how the future looks for Liverpool now.
Good. But that depends on how you see the future. So it's a situation. What is the future? We don't. I think in my life there was never a period when I knew lesser about the future, about my future. I pretty often didn't know exactly how it will be, but the future of all of us, I think that's the first time that nobody knows exactly. So we cannot cut that off the general situation. And general situation is that we are all waiting finally for a vaccine against this awful disease, and that's the future of all of us. And as a football club, we are not worried about the future. So we have a good team, and we have fantastic. It's anyway a good age group, but the future is already prepared with a few really good footballers around us. And I'm really happy that the boys see it the same way, because I said it a lot of times that for young players, the biggest plus they have is time. But in a moment when they lose patience, things can go not exactly like they should go. And our boys want to play, want to be involved, see every day in training that they are really close, but are not yet didn't lose patience that it's not working out tomorrow and playing 90 minutes every 3 days or stuff like that. So we try to help them as much as we can to become the best player they can be. That's what we do with all the players, but with the younger ones, is the responsibility on our side is obviously even bigger. So, and that's why I really like that these boys committed 100% to that way, and it's a wonderful sign for all of us. And I said that the next few are already lined up. If you want, they are really, our academy is producing a lot of good players in the last few years, and we are really happy that the boys want to be part of that process, even when it's then the first time in their life that they don't play week in and week out, but they have a lot to learn, and we give them the time to do. So that's it.
Okay, Juliet Farrington next, and then we've got Mike Hughes. But Juliet, if you'd like to unmute.
Because Jurgen, you give the younger players the opportunities that you have done, but when you look at other Premier League teams, I mean, maybe it won't be always like this for Liverpool. Will it always be possible to have a local player in a Premier League squad, do you think?
I don't know. I don't know if it always will be possible, to be honest. I think it's a bit easier to if you for the London clubs because I'm not sure exactly if you have to come from Chelsea directly to be a local lad or whatever, or if it's allowed that you are from, I don't know, but it's far away, another part of London, and it's still local. But we try. What we want to be, we want to be the spot for everybody with a Scouse soul where he wants to play. So that's how it is. It's not a competition with Everton or whatever that you can do one or the other, but we want to be, of course, if you love football, if you are talented, if you are ready to work hard, then we want you to be here. But for that, we need to show the boys that there's a way through. Maybe not for the kids, the very young ones. There's enough that we have a nice shirt, but then and that we are Liverpool. But then if they go get older, then we have to show perspectives, and that's our responsibility. And so it's really nice that the boys are now so close to it. That Trent made it. That the three others are really close to get through. That's important. That's an important sign for all the other kids around. This is a club where you can have pretty much everything. You can play together with world-class players. You can train together with them, and you can make sure that you improve as much as you can. And then the club is ready to give you the chance. So that's a very important message. If that will be always the case, that depends to the boys. Obviously, we cannot create a football player if the football player is not ready for it. But if you are a talented boy and have the desire to improve, the door is really wide open.
Thank you, Jules. I think we're over to Mike Hughes. Mike, for a couple of questions.
Hi, Jurgen. To continue with the younger players, a goal for Curtis Jones on Sunday. He signed a new contract. Harvey Elliott signed a new contract. What's pleased you most about their progress this season? And would you expect, if this progress is to continue, to see them get more game time in the Premier League next season?
That's always a plan. It's about, one is education. The other one is then showing that education works. It means training works and that they are ready, because we only have the boys here, not because they are nice, humble, good looking, whatever. They are here because we want to, in a moment, mainly they get a benefit from what we do for them. But that's a fair deal, because at the end, we get a bit of benefit from what they are doing. So that's how it is. And that's how you do it with your kids and all that stuff. And that's how I do it with the players. And so what pleased me most about it is that the boys are so humble and so hardworking. So, and in that age group, and the perfect scenario is really that we have these role model professionals around, these slightly elder guys who just show how you have to be if you want to make your way. So that's how it is. And if the boys follow this path, with the talent they have, it's pretty likely that they will have a proper career. So that's good news. We need luck, injury-wise, stuff like this. But here we will always try to use them as often as possible, because the dream is have all boys in, but it will not happen now in the next 5 years, but maybe in 10 years, it would be great if we could have a team full of Scousers. Why not? Because that's not a bad thing to be a Scouser. It's a good thing, because they're hardworking, stuff like this. It's anyway clear that they will fight like crazy and all that stuff. So a few things are really nice already, if you're the characteristic of a Scouser. So good, but the door is open as well for all the other boys who want to play football, good football. Liverpool is a very, very open-minded club, so it must not be 10 Scousers, but if they are around, no problem with that.
Nathaniel Klein has recently left the club. His contract was up. The progress that Nico Williams has made over the past 12, 18 months, does that mean essentially he now becomes, the guy that's pushing Trent Alexander-Arnold in that right back position? And does it also mean that, that progress means that Liverpool aren't going to have to go out and spend an awful lot of money at a time of real financial uncertainty in the game?
It's about the boys. It's always like this. That there's always a picture now. And yes, Nico made exactly the same steps like Harvey and Curtis, for example. Nico is a bit lucky now that the position with fullback situation is like we have actually 2 plus Nico 3 plus Millie and Joey can play and stuff like this. But it's a little bit easier to have minutes in a very, very intense time than it is, for example, for Harvey. So, but it's not does mean that Harvey doesn't make big steps. It's unbelievable. Really is still 17. It's unbelievable how good he is. So that's all fine. But timing is always important in life. And now, whatever you can create by yourself, whatever we can produce together by ourselves, the better it is, because it saves money, of course, it's clear. But on the other side, these boys, need time, but we will use them as often as possible. That's the plan with them, and whatever we can save out there in the crazy world of transfer markets is good. So of course, but the boys have to commit. So I really think that's why I'm so happy about the two contracts. There is always an easier way if you want. So you can either way make sure that you are now in the best place, means playing week in, week out, or that you prepare your career. And we are here for preparing careers. And until the moment is there where the boys can play week in and week out. And as I said, as long as the boys are committed to that way, it will be good. It will be really good for them. I think we have proven that in the past, and I proved it probably at Dortmund and now here at Liverpool since we're here. It's not about how old you are. It's not about who you are. It's only about how good you are. And then you will play.
Fantastic. We've got James from TalkSport, then Carl Markham, and as it stands, that's all I've got for the Open, unless someone uses the hands up feature, and then we'll go to the embargo section. So James next, TalkSport.
Hi, Jurgen. Jurgen, you mentioned there that Graham Potter is trying to completely change the style of play and make them more attractive to watch, whilst also achieving results. How difficult is it to develop a particular playing style whilst getting the results at the same time?
Yeah, biggest challenge in a manager's life, especially when so that's why I said, if I'm 100% sure, Brighton stayed in the league pretty late last year, right? Probably last match day or so. So it was a tight one, a really difficult one. And then coming in, and I saw it was impressive. So from the first match day, I thought, oh, Brighton, they changed a couple of things. But again, then maybe the results, especially in the later period after December, maybe I'm not 100% sure the results were not as good as they should be to stay comfortably in the league. So after lockdown, you saw they changed their approach slightly, but they had other opponents as well. So I think they played Arsenal, United, and stuff like this. So it's not that easy. But it's the biggest challenge in life of a football manager to implement your ideas while you have to produce results. That's it, because nobody waits nowadays for the result. Everybody wants to see the result immediately. So a lot of respect for Graham, what he's doing there.
Okay, last one in the Open is going to be from James Pearce. James, before you start, the guys who are from the UK national papers for the embargo section want to let me know if you want to ask a question. We'll come to you after this. So James Pearce for the last question of the Open.
Hi, Jurgen. I just wanted to ask you about Rhian Brewster. He scored again for Swansea on the weekend. I think that's 7 goals now he's got during his spell there. How much do you feel as if he's benefiting from playing regular first-team football? And where do you see him in terms of the plan for next season, in terms of loaning him out again, or do you see him having a role to play for Liverpool?
No, about the plans with Rhian, we talked to Rhian and not here, and there's nothing to say about really. But yes, it was unbelievably important, and I was really happy that we had the opportunity to do so. Not only that if you want, he plays his first proper senior year. He had an awful injury, so he needed really long time. That's why we said immediately when he came back, it makes not sense to be here, striker 2, 3, whatever. Sometimes yes in the squad, sometimes not. So it was clear his situation is different to a lot of other situations from the boys in the club. And he was really happy that he could go to his former coach, who knew him from the huge 70s, I think, or whatever. What? U19s, yeah, from the youth national teams, and that helped a lot. And they really wanted him, and that is very important for a young striker because you cannot score every week, and you still should stay on the pitch. And it happened now at Swansea, so play a good season, and Rhian shows absolutely his talent. So that's clear. So it's in the moment nearly perfect how it is, but how it will be exactly next year, we will talk about with him and his representatives probably.
Fantastic. And my humble apologies for forgetting the unforgettable Carl Markham in the Open. Apologies, Carl. You were covered by the participants bar. So, Carl Markham, finish the Open.
Hi, Jurgen. We seem to have spoken a lot today about the development of the younger players. I'm just wanting to talk to you about the development of one of your senior players in Sadio Mane, who's now 20 goals a season for the third successive season. I just wondered what you could sort of talk to us about his progress he's made.
Look, in the last 3 years, roundabout, I'm not sure exactly how long, but this team made progress, made massive steps. Yes, and it's nice to talk about young players, but to be honest, the difference made all the other players. So they brought us in a situation where we are in. So, and it only worked because no other team sleeps. It only worked because we made each year big steps. And Sadio is a very, very good example for that. I remember this unbelievable talented boy we took from, or could get from Southampton. It was really outstanding skill-wise, but little lack of consistency, if you want. It was not that. That's why probably a lot of people thought, really, so much money. If you watched the wrong game, then maybe people thought, well, I'm not sure he's worth it. We were 100% sure about him, but consistency was the key, and absolutely now what he's doing now, how he performs on the consistent, the level he performs is unbelievable, and helps us massively. he's a complete player, and so offensively, defensively, he works hard. He gives us depth because he is really quick. He's in between the lines, so I could pretty much write the same book about pretty much all the other players as well, but Sadio made real steps, especially. But that's normal. He came as a young boy here, and he grew up. He matured here. That's normal. That's the time of his career where it was clear that it will happen. And we were lucky enough to be around while that happened. And for sure, a few things we did from a tactical point of view. They helped the boys as well because it's close to their nature, so they don't have to act. They just can be themselves and play the football they are best in, actually, and that helps, of course. And Sadio is a good example for the improvement of the whole squad, because he's obviously improved a lot in the last few years, and from a very high level already. So becoming a really, really good player, or now he's a world-class player, no doubt about that, and is a winner on top of that. So that's all cool. Great to have him here.